Paul was a very unique individual. He was the architect of modern day financial planning.
But the thing that really struck me of Paul was his singular passion for financial planning and doing it right.
He was very well liked. He had a great sense of humour.
Paul was the godfather and financial planning.
He had these phrases that he used all the time that will ring in everyone's ear that ever trained with him. If you can't fault the assumptions, it's only reasonable to accept the conclusions. It is reasonable that, yeah, I can go and enjoy this money. I can go and
I can go and spend some if I want
go
to.
Go and enjoy it, absolutely.
I think the word unique is often overused. He was such an early founder of the profession in the UK, and to bring the thinking to that problem of how do we move from financial planning as an activity, as something that was almost like a function of sales within financial services, to a true financial planning, a service for a client. I think that's what stands out for me as being unique about Paul. Back in the early days when 7IM was being formed, the three of us went up to see Paul, went to his very famous barn in the garden where he did his work. And he gave us a whole day of talking about financial planning and how it might fit into the plans at 7IM then. But it was such an incredibly good day, so full of insight, so full of generosity from Paul. And I think having this the first time I met him, I could see why he'd built the reputation he had, because he was so passionate about financial planning.
So we're here today at Adam's Restaurant because the Cellar Club has been at various restaurants throughout its career, and we started at the Cellar Club in Sparkbrook. My overriding memory of Paul is him sitting at Cellar Club meetings in his brilliant velvet burgundy dinner suit. I think Paul would want to be remembered for making a big difference to the overall setup of financial planning. He knew what financial planning should look like. His work has enabled many people like me to feel proud of what we do. The most important thing I learned from Paul was to be humble, do the best you could possibly do for yourself, get as qualified and as highly qualified as you can, and to put all your efforts into making the client journey a very easy journey for them.
I think, though, that he liked the one-to-one talk that he could do with them. You know, when somebody came into his office, he would focus on them.
Yeah, he would.
And he'd ask them questions and see what it was they really wanted. And then if you say, what do you really, really want? They'd say, well, I'd really like to go on holiday more often, or whatever it was. Right, or we'll plan that in then.
I first met Paul, well, over 30 years ago, so I'm showing my age a little bit now. Initially, I listened to one of the cassettes that he used to produce about the first interview. And I just thought, wow, this is how I want to run my business, because it was so professional, it was structured, it was clear, and he was very open. And I knew then that I had to meet him and find out how to set my business up in this way. He didn't give any flannel. People used to say, what's the best fund, Paul, to recommend to clients? And he'd say, I don't know. Paul set up Prestwood software. And in the beginning, for those who can remember, it was MS-DOS. And very, very clunky and not easy to use. But I persevered with it until it developed over the years and became much more the machine it is today.
I'm joined now by Paul Etheridge, past president and, most importantly, member number 1 of the Institute.
Drives enthusiastic, change people's mind, and the change Paul switch the light on everybody, discovering the different planning or selling and products and financial planning.
And I think you can always say that Paul really did live and enjoy life.
Oh, yes.
Lots of nice trips and holidays.
He did a bungee jump in New Zealand, don't you know?
I heard that. I was very surprised at that, I must say.
I was as well. I found a T-shirt in the airing cupboard with "I did a bungee jump in something or other." Yeah.
What Wild Living Fund, I think he used to refer to it as well. It's like, how much more you can spend.
I kept saying, I wanted one of those. Didn't get one, did I?
I can remember stories of him getting Richard to go out and literally price a car. A client would say, I need a new car. And what kind of car would you want? So Richard would scurry off and actually physically get the price of that car. Well, let's put it in the cash flow.
That's in now, you've got to have one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's it's really making true lifestyle financial planning decisions.
And I think people do put things off when very often they don't need to, do they? They'll say, one day I'm going to do, and Paul would say, well, why not now?
I love what I do. I genuinely do. I have enormous affection for our clients. There is a binding relationship there. I don't want to let it go.